I like to describe the South Coast as a very unique piece of the Oregon coast. There's less people down here because it's a little further away from the major metropolitan areas of Portland and down in San Francisco, so it takes a little longer to get here, but it's well worth it once you find this area and you realize how special it is. We have more wild and scenic rivers down here in Curry County than anywhere else in the lower 48 states, so they actually call this place the Wild Rivers Coast, but all these amazing rivers are perfect for getting out in the water. My name is Dave Lacey, and I live down here in Gold Beach on the south coast of Oregon, and I work for the Oregon Coast Visitors Association, and we do all kinds of things from marketing to destination development. And I also run a side business called South Coast Tours, which we do outfitter services down here on the South Coast, from paddling to mountain bike trails. In the wintertime, like right now, it's very uncrowded. There's hardly anyone at the trails. The waterways are uncrowded. But then as you transition into the summer tourism season, it gets a little more crowded. There's definitely more people at the trailheads and more people out on the water, but it's still less crowded than many other places in California and northern Oregon.
This place is insane. Oregon's Pacific coastline is massive, stretching 362 miles from its Washington border in Astoria, yeah, Goonies, to the California line in Brookings. I can count on one hand, and that's without using all the fingers, all of the places on the planet I find to be as mesmerizing as this place is. Land and sea collide every second of every day to create a landscape that seems like it's been ripped from the pages of your favorite Dr. Seuss book. There are plenty of stellar trails up and down the Oregon coast, but the Pine Grove Trail is a true backcountry gem that is as raw and as beautiful as they come. It definitely puts the mountains back in mountain biking.
One of the big issues with mountain biking, especially on the South Coast, and we're seeing it a lot in California as well, is the wildfire issue. Typically in the late summer, early fall, there's going to be wildfires all over the country nowadays. But here it hit us really hard this year. We actually had 3 wildfires burning in Curry County at the same time. And the one that affected us most down here in Gold Beach was the Flat Fire, and that burned right next to Pine Grove. It also burned some of these other trails that we are working on opening up that have been a little neglected by the Forest Service. So we're trying to clear them and reestablish tread and make them a part of our riding network here. So this fire blew up, and it went from 0 to about 30,000 acres within a month. And so it was closed all the trails down in the area, made it so we couldn't do our mountain bike shuttles, and just kept us from spending time in the woods here, unfortunately. I think this place as a multi-sport destination is why it should be really popular, and for me, I just like to enjoy all those different things. So that's what I think this place has to offer, and that's why I think I deal with my frustration working with agencies and the slow glacial timeline that some of these agencies work in. In the end, I think it's worth it. Every time we get a little bit more mileage done on a trail, or possibly get a new trail proposal approved and get to work on it, then it makes me happy, and it makes a lot of my friends and family happy, because they get to enjoy all these things. And it's really not about just providing things for tourists to do. Everything that I want to work on is also fun for the people that live here, and that's a huge part of why I do the work I do.
It's hard to come to a place like this and not be profoundly moved by the surrounding landscape. I think it stands as a stark reminder of how fortunate we are to be alive at a time when the bikes are so good and getting better, and we have access to trails such as Pine Grove and the coastal Oregon backcountry. As good as it is, the Wild Rivers Coast Mountain Bike Association isn't done yet. Plans are in place to add upwards of 28 miles of coastal mountain backcountry trails, designed with shuttling and big descents in mind. Yep, it's a hell of a time to be alive, And this is a hell of a place to remind you of that.